Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope it's awesome this beautiful day. Let's get into video. So, guys, welcome into my week number 13 college football picks and predictions involving top 25 teams. There's no Friday night games this week, including top 25 teams, so we'll just get right into the Saturday games. And we'll start at noon Eastern on Fox. The 5-5 Rutgers Scarlet Knights go on the road to play the number 1 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. Buckeyes coming in 31.5 point favorites. I think this game will be kind of high scoring, guys. Rutgers, I know people like to say Rutgers is terrible. Rutgers this year is actually not that bad. They're a pretty average team. They've been competitive. Rutgers is not an awful team. They're not really that awful this year. I think Ohio State, yeah, they win this game, but I don't think they cover. I think they're going to win 40-20. 40-20 will be your final score. 40-20 will be your final score in that one. Anyway, at noon Eastern on the SEC Network Plus will be Samford going on the road to play Texas A&M Aggies. There's no spread. There's no spread to this game. No spread to this game. But I expect this game to be a complete blowout. I believe Stanford is actually 1-10. So one of the best FBS teams taking on one of the worst FCS teams. A&M wins 52-0 in my 52-0 is your score prediction in that one. A&M, remember, they got that big comeback win against South Carolina. A great win for A&M. That was an incredible game to watch. One of the best games of the year. We talked about it in the recap, though, so we'll move on here. Anyway, at noon Eastern on ABC, will be 22-ranked Missouri going on the road to play 8th-ranked Oklahoma. Sooners 7-5. The Sooners are, they're 7.5 point favorites. Oklahoma, they're coming off that nice win on the road against Alabama. Really good win for Oklahoma. Missouri's coming off that nice blowout win against, I think, an average Mississippi State team at home. Oklahoma should win this game. I think it'll be a close one. I say like 24-16 will be your final there. Oklahoma, they win I think Oklahoma should make the playoffs. I think they're going to make it. Currently, as the 8th ranked in the country, they beat Missouri, I think, in that one. At noon Eastern on ESPN, 13-ranked Miami goes on the road to play 3-7 Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech just hired James Franklin to be their next head coach. I don't know if he's coaching this game or not. I don't really know. But I do expect Miami to dominate this game. Miami's way better. I know Virginia Tech could be a tough place to play, but give me Miami easily in this one. Miami's going to win this game. I say 38-13 in a blowout. Miami gets the win. There's no spread. I don't know why there's no spread for this game. That doesn't make sense. Okay, that's something's broken on ESPN. I don't know why it doesn't show a spread for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, at 12:45 on the SEC Network, it'll be 1-9 Charlotte going on the road to play number 4 ranked Georgia. Georgia coming off that nice blowout win against Texas. That game went exactly how I thought it was going to go, and I couldn't be more right. They're taking on a really bad American team in Charlotte. Georgia dominates this game. They're 43.5 point favorites. I have them winning this game 41-7. They barely don't cover, but they do win 41-7. So Georgia does get the win there. And then at 2 p.m. on the SEC Network Plus, this game's at 2 p.m. Eastern Illinois, 3-8 is an FCS team taking on 10th ranked Alabama. Alabama, they do get the win here. I think they'll win maybe, I'd say 52-7. Eastern Illinois is a bad FCS team. Alabama dominates them 52-7. Committed tied to roll in that one. They come off that bad loss to Oklahoma. I said they bounce back. And the Auburn game, guys. If Alabama loses to Auburn, they're likely going to be out of the playoffs. That Auburn game next week is huge for college football playoff implications next week. The Iron Bowl is big next week. But I say they get the win over Eastern Illinois. Anyway, at 3:30 on CBS, we got college game day game of the week. 15th-ranked USC goes on the road to play 7th-ranked Oregon. The last time college game day was in Eugene. Oregon lost against Indiana back in week 7, actually. But the Ducks take on the Trojans today. Oregon, I think, will win this game. It's going to be a low-score one. I say Oregon wins 27-24. USC is good, but I think they're not on the level of Oregon. Oregon's way better than USC, more talented. The Ducks get a close win, 27-24. I like Oregon in that game. Anyway, moving on at 3:30, the Ducks are 9.5 point favorites. I say USC covers, though. Even the Ducks at 9.5. So USC, they cover the spread but lose the game outright. At 3:30 on NBC, Syracuse goes on the road to play 9th-ranked Notre Dame. Notre Dame, 35.5 point favorites against Syracuse. And this game should be a blowout, guys. This game will be more low scoring. Actually, Notre Dame does not cover. Notre Dame wins this game 31-3. Syracuse just has no offense. I'm sorry. Syracuse might have one of the worst offenses I've ever seen. They just simply have no offense. They can't score any points. That's the very big problem for Syracuse. And Notre Dame, they'll sleepwalk a little bit. They come out with a low-scoring win, 31-3. But Syracuse can't score, so give me Notre Dame in that one. At 3:30 on ESPN, it'll be 5-5 Kentucky going on the road to play 14-ranked Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, they got to beat Kentucky, and if they beat Kentucky this upcoming weekend, Their big game to get into the playoffs is at Tennessee. They beat Tennessee. I think they're likely in the playoffs. They lose to Kentucky. I think they're out of it, even if they beat Tennessee the next week. So I think they'll beat Kentucky. Kentucky's actually in a 3-game winning streak, which is very interesting. Kentucky, they beat, I forgot who they beat, but I know they beat Florida, they crushed Florida, and they beat a decent FCS team in Tennessee Tech. So, good wins for Kentucky. So, Kentucky's actually on a 3-game winning streak, which is pretty impressive. So, give credit to Kentucky where it's due. Anyway, but I think sadly, Kentucky, your winning streak ends today. I think Vanderbilt gets the win. Vanderbilt's going to get a close one. I say 31-13. So, maybe Vanderbilt to win the game. I like Vanderbilt. I think their offense. Anyway, moving on at 3:30 on ABC. 2-8 Arkansas taking on 17-ranked Texas. Texas 8.5-point favorites in this one. Texas playing at home against, actually, Arkansas's way better than the rest. I know they say that 2-8 might think Arkansas's awful. Arkansas's been competitive, but those fumbles really hurt them. And for Arkansas, those fumbles really killed them, not going to lie. Those fumbles are terrible, not going to lie. So Arkansas, I mean, they're not an awful team, actually, even at 2-8. But, yeah, I'll pick Texas. Texas, they're coming off that bad blow, loss to Georgia. Texas finally got exposed. Texas, I think, is done for the playoffs. They're not letting them in at 7-3. There's just too many 2-loss teams in front of them. I just don't see Texas making the playoffs. So they do beat Arkansas, but I just don't see. I mean, Texas won't make the playoffs, but I think they get the win here. They get a nice win. I say 31-20. They get a nice win. They cover the spread. I like Texas. At 3:30 on ESPNU, 24-8 Tulane goes on the road to play Temple. Honestly, I thought Tulane was done after that bad loss on the road at UTSA like 3 weeks ago. But Tulane's really bounced back. They got the nice win at Memphis. I forgot who they beat last week. I forgot who they beat last week. Didn't they beat they beat Florida Atlantic last week, I believe. And now they play at Temple. Tulane is 7.5-point favorites. Temple's been a little better this year, so give them credit. But even even on the road, if the game's at Eagles Stadium, I like Tulane to get a dominant win. I say it'll be closer. I say Tulane wins like 38-16. Give me Tulane in that one. They go on the road, beat it. I think an average Temple team, so give me Tulane in that one. Anyway, at 4 p.m. on ESPN2, it'll be Kansas State taking on 12th-ranked Utah. Utah 17.5-point favorites taking on Kansas State. Kansas State's been pretty okay this year. They had a bad start, but they played a little better, not going to lie to you guys, and that play against a really good Utah team. Utah's coming off a nice win. They scored 50 points on the road at Baylor last week. Good win for Utah. And I expect Utah to win this game pretty easily. I mean, Kansas State's not bad, but you give me Utah to win 31. I say 31-22, so give me Utah on that one. Anyway, at 4 p.m. on the Big Ten Network, we'll have 18-ranked Michigan going on the road to play a fallen off Maryland team. Maryland's okay. Michigan's coming off that weird win against Northwestern, which they were down the majority of that game, but they come back late and get the game-winning field goal. So good win for Michigan. I think Michigan, they go in the College Park. I say they beat Maryland. I say it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think Michigan wins this one like 20-17. They get another game-winning field goal. But then they beat Ohio State, actually. Would that mean Michigan makes the Big Ten championship? No, I think it means, wouldn't it be Indiana, Oregon? I don't know. We'll figure out later. Anyway, 4 p.m. on Fox. TCU goes on the road to play 23rd-ranked Houston. Houston 1.5-point favorites. TCU, this game's at 4 p.m. on Fox. TCU, they're coming off that. I think TCU was a decent team, but they had a bad loss against a really good BYU team. I'm very high on BYU now. That's a great win against TCU, but we'll talk about BYU later. I think Houston will get the win here. Houston's probably not going to make the playoffs. They have Utah, Texas Tech, and BYU in front of them. Houston's kind of a long. I mean, technically they could still make it, but it's just a long shot for them. They know a lot of stuff to go their way if Houston wants to make the playoffs. Houston will get the win here, though, and keep their playoff hopes alive, technically. They win this one, I think, 26-19. Give me Houston in this one. Anyway, at 7 p.m. on ESPN, big game for the ACC, baby. Pitt goes on the road to play 16th-ranked Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech 2.5-point favorites. Georgia Tech, they're coming off a sneaky, okay win at Boston against a 1-win Boston College team. Pitt's coming off a blowout loss at home to Notre Dame, a college game day being there. I like Georgia Tech to get a close win, 31-27. Georgia Tech's been playing a lot. Has been playing a lot of close games this year. I think they get a win against Pitt. Give me Georgia Tech in that one. Anyway, at 7:30 on ABC, 23rd-ranked Tennessee goes on the road to play Florida, a bad Florida team. Honestly, I like Tennessee. They're not making the playoffs. This game doesn't matter to me that much. It's the 7:30 ABC game, one of the worst 7:30 ABC games of the year. I like Tennessee to get the win here, though, on the road in the Swamp. I say they get a nice win. They win. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I see Tennessee wins like 17-14. I like Tennessee to win a very low-scoring game in that one. They win 17-14. Florida I think they'll play it competitive. Anyway, at 7:30 on the Big Ten Network, Illinois is ranked for some reason. 21-ranked Illinois goes on the road to play 3-7 Wisconsin, the 7.5-point favorites. Wisconsin, they've been more competitive. They kept it close for a little bit against Indiana, but Indiana pulled away late. Illinois, I forgot who Illinois beat last week. Honestly, I forgot who Illinois played last week. But I think Illinois will get the win here. Actually, didn't it? I don't know. Illinois beat like Maryland last week, I believe. I thought. Didn't they beat Maryland? Anyway, I think Illinois gets a win at Wisconsin pretty easily. I say they win 34-17. I like Illinois in that one. At 8 p.m. on Fox, 11th ranked BYU goes on there to play a fallen off Cincinnati team. Cincinnati, back-to-back losses to at Utah, and then a bad loss at home against Arizona last week. That was bad, man. But I think BYU, I know it's on the road at night, but I like BYU kind of, not dominate. It'll be a close game. But I like BYU to win like 30, I say 30-20. I think BYU controls most of it. Cincinnati gets a couple late scores late. Not a blowout, but BYU mainly controls it. And then the final game we're predicting at 8 p.m. on ESPN2, 25-ranked Arizona State goes on the road to play 3-7 Colorado. ASU 7.5-point favorites. I guess ASU can technically still make it. It's not likely, though. They beat Colorado because Colorado, Colorado's some flashes, but they're just not a very good team. I like ASU to dominate this one. ASU wins, I say about, 34-19, something like that. I like ASU to get the win there. And at 7.5-point favorites, they cover the spread. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for my Week 13 college football predictions. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us today. More videos tomorrow. We also, I believe President Trump's supposed to sign the Epstein release bill, I think tonight, actually, or tomorrow. I believe that bill actually went to his desk. The Senate actually passed, which is crazy. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day. More news on that Epstein stuff coming up soon. College football coming up this weekend. Thanks for watching. Peace out.